so funny. I was in your neighborhood all weekend because all the movie theaters are there.
Okay, guys.
And then Amy and Asher left, so I took the weekend to go see movies.
So you went to Court Street anyway?
I went to Court Street and I went to
Draft House. Oh, right on. Yeah.
I saw Mission Impossible, which is awesome.
Really?
Awesome. Talking to the mic. Rory,
hello.
Hot mic. Yeah. How was Mission? You can give a capsule review while you're on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. Jeremiah Zagar is going to...
Have you seen
I haven't heard one negative thing about it.
Have you seen the clip of the shot of him breaking his foot or whatever? Like,
yeah.
They did that stunt.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it because it's in the movie, I think. But
yeah. Because where he jumps. He
jumps
into it's crazy. I mean, the whole movie is like
literally
one heart-pounding, crazy, stunt.
Non-stop roller coaster ride, as they call it.
And it's really corny, but like in a really great way. Like in a way that you're just
sure.
like...
Yeah.
In a way that you don't care that Tom Cruise hires slave labor. In a way that you're just like, all right, he's a crazy Scientologist, but he's really, really charming.
What is the independent film world, if not slave labor?
That's right. Yeah, we do it anyway.
But if you think about it, right, it's just somebody's making the money from those large productions, from the Hollywood studio productions, right? So that's the difference. If you're not really... There is a place where you should be sharing the wealth that supposedly exists, right?
Yes. I mean, we don't get any of that wealth.
Well, I understand.
I'm turning my phone off.
Yeah, or just the volume anyway. Thank you. No, thanks. I like your sandals, too. Your moccasins, what do they call? I guess...
They're called huarachis.
What are they called?
They're called huarachis.
Huarachis. Where'd you get those? Those are great.
Huaraches.
Huaraches. Huaraches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raúl knows how to pronounce it.
Oh, I bet.
But he only has a pair because I got him a pair.
That's right.
You have a pair too?
Yeah, I do. They're black and they're beautiful. They're like these, they're from, where are they? From Australia?
They're Australian.
Yeah. They're this gorgeous black leather, like really.
I like that.
But I still have yet to break them in. I've worn them twice now, and they mash up my feet.
You have to break them in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem with huarachis. You have to break them in.
Yeah, well, the thing is I have these this is really fascinating stuff. But I have a bit of a high arch type of thing, so, but it would break in after a while. That's fine.
Well, that's the thing about the leather. It's like the leather
it
gets soft and then it starts to feel good, but it takes a while.
I used to have those types.
That's good to know. I get to know.
Yeah. Well, this is Shoe Talk with guests Jeremiah Zagar and Raúl Castillo.
That's not that surprising because Jeremiah is a shoe head. So
I'm very into shoes.
This is
no,
pretty
no
appropriate.
shame in that.
Sneakers mostly, but I really like these shoes.
I said I brought my tabletop stand, so just so we're all kind of in the same volume area, just hold them like a little bit, a few inches.
Here?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you get the warmth of the of the thing. It's great meeting you. Jeremiah, it's great meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
And Raúl, nice to see you again.
To see you, Adam.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Castillo because I mean that's the way it should be pronounced.
Yeah, that's right.
Although people probably say Castillo, I guess all the time, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. It's like Starbucks with my name.
What's that?
It's like Starbucks. They can never get your name right.
Oh, I see. Right. Well, that's right. Yeah, that's why I would put just like
Tom
on everything. Exactly.
Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Bob. So where do we begin? This film is called We the Animals. It was adapted from a book by Justin Torres, right? A novel.
That's right.
And you discovered it when you walked into a bookstore, right? Is that what happened? The origin story?
Yeah.
And you couldn't put it, you read the whole thing in the bookstore. Is that true or is that just myth?
That is true. Well, the bookstore has a cafe. It's McNally Jackson down the street, so they have a cafe. So you can. This is a secret that you don't know about McNally Jackson, but you can actually take the book and bring it into the cafe without buying it. It's a secret. It's a secret. You have to be stealthy about it, and if they catch you, you're fucked. But
really,
yeah.
Oh, they don't want you to do that. Okay.
No, of course they no. They want you to purchase the book.
Sure.
But
anyway, so you didn't purchase it.
But then I purchased 11 copies or 12 copies. Over the course of my life, I purchased for the last 6 years a ton of copies, and I always buy them from them because Justin worked at McNally Jackson, so they have like an overstock of those books.
That's a coincidence.
Have a ton of them,
right? That's a coincidence, right? That he happened to work there.
Totally a coincidence.
Yeah, and you had. I mean, I'm just starting the sentence. You should be ending it. But you, Jeremiah, started as a documentary filmmaker.
Yeah,
and
I started, as a watcher of movies, even before that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But you were already in this mind of making a narrative film, a fiction film, before you found the book?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I again, like, because I said I started as a watcher of movies, I really wanted to be a video store clerk. That was like my real dream when I was a kid. But I got fired immediately after getting hired as a video store clerk.
Oh, so you actually got a job in the...
I've been fired from every job I've ever had. And I was a busboy and I got fired, and I was a video store clerk and I got fired, and then I started to get film jobs, and film jobs are short enough that you can't fire me. You know, you have to kind of ride me out. You have to kind of ride it out. And then, so I started in college making narratives. Actually, in college, I made mostly narratives and animations.
Oh, where was that?
At Emerson.
Okay.
And then at the end of college, I started to film my father, who's an artist in Philadelphia, and that became my first documentary. And then, you know, you make one, and somebody asks you to make another, and then I made another.
If it's good, they do. I mean, if it's
not always. I mean, it can be good or Anyway,
well, you could also be shooting weddings.
I was actually a editor of wedding videos and bar mitzvah videos for a little bit.
I mean, you didn't get fired from that.
I did.
Oh, you did.
You did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm firing you from this interview just because I respect you. Well, this is a phenomenal movie. I'm so glad that it was put on my radar. I was very moved by it. Just so people have a context, it's about a family living upstate New York, a bit cut off, a bit isolated. I mean, what you created also is a sense of that, you guys, where you really feel like you're immersed in their little bubble of a world for most of the film anyway. And the two parents, very young, and they have 3 boys who, again, it's like this long, endless summer type of thing where they just have, it seems like endless amount of time. It's before technology has taken over kids' lives. Yeah. So that's, how did you guys create the character of Pops, rather?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to explain to the listeners that it's the parents in this family are a biracial couple. It's a Puerto Rican father and an Irish-Italian mother, originally from Brooklyn, from the city.
How did they meet? Or how did they end up being upstate, too?
The book, is it explained in the book? They met it in the program for delinquent youth, in essence, right? It was like a... Am I wrong about
it's sort of like it's sort of like amorphous how they met.
Yeah,
you know that that she was much younger than him, that 4 years younger than him or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
which at the time when they're that young, they
end up getting married in Texas
in their teens.
Yeah, they end up getting married in Texas because the laws in Texas allow them to get married. So. I know that, they are. There is
so many jokes coming through my mind. I'm going to ignore them all. Just not doing it.
So the thing is that the book and this is what's actually kind of beautiful about the experience, and Justin would walk us through what happened in the book, to the backstory of the book, what he had imagined in his mind, but he'd also walk us through what happened in his real life, and then he would allow Raúl, Sheila, me, and the boys to transform that with his help as well. Right. And so, Raúl was able to create the backstory that, the character needed for him. And I think that was kind of a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound typical to, where a filmmaker wants to involve the original creator, the original source, I should say, and also, the real life behind the fiction version and all that, but it seems to work very well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the only way to make the movie.
Is it? Okay.
I think it was the only way to make this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know other movies, and I only know the movies that I've made, but it certainly was the. I mean, I didn't know the story as well as the author, and I never would, and I would never be ever as intimately involved with. The book is so intimate, and it's just like, and Raúl would never know that character as well as Justin, and I think that's why, and what we were trying to do was honor the book. I mean, really, that's all any of us are trying to do.
But it sounds like there's a lot of pre-production process that was done. Like you worked with 3 young boys who have no acting background, but they went through a relatively rigorous period of time, right, with an acting coach. Many hours, right, of exercises and to help create that intimacy that you're talking about. I mean,
and Raúl and Sheila were part of that.
Yeah,
I think that what we did was we tried to make what was beautiful about what Justin allowed us to do with the book is he said, there's no way you're going to recreate the book. What you're going to do is transform the book. What you're going to do is translate it to the screen. And in order to do that, we're going to need to create an immersive experience for everybody involved. That was something that from the onset, Justin and I were like, let's do this. And so, we cast over a year and a half. We saw 1,000 young men. And it's
incredible.
It was crazy with this amazing grassroots casting director who was a former intern of ours named Marlena, who ended up being the AC on the movie. So everybody was like a family on the movie. People that worked on the movie continued to work on the movie throughout the process.
What's an AC?
An assistant camera.
Yeah.
So, and then early in the process, Raúl was cast, and I remember showing him the boys. It was very sensitive for me to make sure, when Raúl was like, I'm in, it was about a year before we started shooting. Mm-hmm. Then I showed him the boys that we had started to cast. Mm-hmm. I remember you came in and saw them.
Yeah.
Maybe you talk about that.
When we were there together, or
no, just coming into the office. I remember I showed you that video.
Well, it was great to be included in the process from an early stage, and to be. It always felt like Jeremiah was, we were all collaborating on this thing. We were making this thing together. It wasn't like we were the actors and we were in that corner. And so from early on, I think I went to Jeremiah's house and shot some video with his son in a bathtub.
A newborn, right?
Yeah. That wound up in the final film.
Yeah.
It's a flashback.
It's a flash. It's sort of a flashback. Yeah. It's kind of a poetically interpreted flashback.
Yeah. There's some of that.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a lot of
great because Jeremiah's son actually is a great stand-in for baby Evan, or baby Jonah, rather.
Evan is one of the 3 young actors.
Yeah, exactly.
We call them actors now. Evan
Exactly.
Rosado. Right?
They are actors.
Yeah, they really are.
Actors.
Yeah.
And that was Noel Gentile, their acting coach, who really brought that out in them, along with Raúl and Sheila.
You have to go through their management now to talk to them.
That's right. That's true, I think.
No, but it's true. But I think because they were non-actors, quote unquote, that it was great that Jeremiah sort of took the care to even have an acting coach, that someone that can let them tap into their creativity and their imagination, which is what they need.
It's a great way to do
on set. Yeah,
because there's so much of the imagination that's emphasized in the story, also, especially with Jonah, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
His time under the bed. He has a rich internal life, right?
That's
It's interesting. I want to mention also Sheila Van plays the mom. What I know there's specific names. Ma. Okay. Right. Yeah. She did. She was on this podcast with the girl who walks home alone.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, years ago. So I was hoping also to this is nice. To hell with her.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should mention also, I should have said this from the top. I actually know Zach Mulligan very well.
You do?
Yeah, he's a friend. So we actually met last week because I just, this nonstop I just constantly. So years ago, I was in a coffee shop in Brooklyn, and somebody was shooting a film in the coffee shop, and I was kind of annoyed because you just want to have your coffee and relax, and it's Brooklyn, so they're shooting. And he was the cinematographer, and he was shooting a movie. It just coincidentally, So, anyway, so I have a little segment with Zach as well that I'm going to add to this particular episode. I think it's very nice.
Oh, cool. You should get Sheila, too. She's amazing.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to. So if you're listening, Sheila.
She's on Snowpiercer right now.
Contact my management.
Is she shooting?
I think they started shooting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Snowpiercer. She's on the TNT show.
I think they postponed it.
Oh, they, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so. I think you should get her on the show.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get her. I'd love to get her back.
In that case.
I'm getting too distracted. I want to keep my focus on this great movie, which opens, by the way, August 17th here in New York. What theater?
It's going to be at Landmark on 57th.
Okay.
And it's going to be at the Angelica.
And
you should come out opening weekend because that's the most important weekend.
Yeah.
So, wait, are you going to be shuttling between those two theaters on the first weekend?
Yeah, I think Justin Torres, possibly Sheila, and myself will be here in New York, and then Jeremiah will be in L.A.
Definitely Sheila. And Raúl and Justin will be here every day for the opening weekend. I'll be at 57th Street the first night with the boys.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
And then I go to Los Angeles, and I'll be there for the next 2 days. Yeah.
So it's opening in LA. Same weekend,
yes.
August 17th at the Limley.
At the Landmark.
At the Landmark. Oh, and that makes sense.
On Pico.
That makes complete sense. Okay,
which is a beautiful theater.
I
saw A Quiet Place there.
Wow.
It was great. I mean, I was actually
That's
really impressed
movie.
by the theatrical projection. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And the movie was great, too.
Yeah.
What is it about the film? It's the furthest thing from a horror film. I'm talking about We the Animals again. But there is a sense of, maybe there's a tension that you created in the film. It's kind of unsettling, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I would say it's the similar techniques as a horror film. You're waiting for something terrible.
You're
to
isolated.
happen.
You're in the woods. I mean, it is a kind of typical. Some tropes there that you share with a typical horror film, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the book does that too. There's a sense of suspense.
There is,
and there's a sense of volatility in the characters that's really vital. That creates that environment. It's like Pop's is incredibly volatile. Ma's incredibly volatile. The kids are incredibly volatile. So anything can happen.
We know boys especially, although not necessarily always, are like, you put them in the upstate or anywhere rural, especially, or any park or whatever, and they're like little animals, really. So that's true. Yeah, again, they were married very young and started a family very young, and there's a lot of pressure, and they didn't have any family support. Right, back home in New York, and had to go up to an area upstate where they were not familiar. This is backstory, but it's very much in the present of their conflicts and their what they're struggling with. So he's struggling to find work, and it's a lot of pressure, and he probably has a lot of self-hatred, or at least struggling with some of that, right?
Sure.
And also wanting to still be a kid himself, I guess.
Right. Mm-hmm. But there was and that volatility, which is so present in the novel. I think we needed a way to capture that, and I think that it's funny being in this room right now because I think I read with Sheila in this room.
Oh yeah.
And I was we were.
You had your audition?
Yeah, she was auditioning. We had a sort of chemistry read together, and I've been thinking a lot about A Woman Under the Influence and Jenna Rollins and. Sheila had this quality to her that she's there's this saying in Spanish, chiquita pero picosa, which means little but spicy. It's like a reference to peppers, but it's also applicable to people. And Sheila's this petite, almost frail little bird-like creature, but then she explodes, and she gives it right back to me. And that's where these characters sort of live and need to be. And I think that we had a great chemistry, I think, and we could allow each other to go there, and we knew we were safe with each other, and that's sort of emblematic of the entire film. We in order to represent this very volatile family, I think we had to create a really safe environment for us to get wild and get free, and Jeremiah really made sure that's how the process worked itself out.
And then they lived together. So Sheila and Raúl lived together, and the boys all lived together. So there was an intimacy that was created between them during production.
The production, right?
Yeah,
and maybe the parents would have objected too.
All of them moving
up there months
ahead.
We
did do a couple sleepovers, which were really hard
to establish initially, to try to create an intimacy, as you said, or some sort of
family environment. Like this is how do you be a family if you don't do the things regular families do? So we wanted to create those spaces.
Yeah. And the thing is that you go to I went to theater school. I don't know about film school, but you go to theater school, and people teach you to be like wild and free and experimental, and then you get out into the world and in the industry, and everyone's it's all contingent on money, and everyone's trying to do things so safely and by the book that no one is free and experimental and playful anymore. That ceases to be.
Yeah, it's all a business now.
Right.
So it was teetering for the longest time in the 70s.
That's right.
That's
now
right. That day's
and
over.
Jeremiah was really intent from the get-go about doing things differently, and I always thought when we were doing those exercises or those sleepovers that I thought someone was going to pull the wool from under us. I didn't think that anyone can actually do this anymore. And that was very much a part of the process, was that playfulness, so that I think it was almost, it created a quality to where the cameras were only, it was, they let us go, even though it was very much curated and programmed, but at the same time there was a looseness and a freedom that I think that the kids needed to do what they were doing. And then that forced Sheila and I to sort of, that kept us on our toes. I mean, the kids kept us on our toes.
Yeah,
because they were so present and real and authentic and raw and honest, and it forced us to kind of listen and respond.
Yeah,
which is what you need in acting.
I hear. Yeah. How did the kids? What did they think of their performance when they saw the movie? Did they come to Sundance?
Oh yeah,
they did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did they think? What are and their families? Because there was a lot of pressure there, right? You really involved them in something pretty heavy duty, and then
absolutely,
and then you pulled it off. You got into the #1 American Film Festival, and it's pretty gratifying, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were very proud to be in that film festival, to have won an award. That meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
They got a lot of really beautiful notices. I think, also it's hard to watch the movie. The movie's a tough movie. So I think there's also, a reality check when you see it and you're like, wow, this is really amazing and really hard what I went through,
Yeah.
And I think they were primarily proud. I mean, they're also beautiful speakers. You should see them at Q&As and talk about their experience. The other week, Sheila and I were actually at Rooftop Films, and we got stuck in an elevator, and the boys had to do the first 10 minutes of the Q&A all by themselves. And they were amazing. I mean, they're so precocious and
was this
beautifully spoken.
In the Lower East Side?
No, it was in Brooklyn. It was at the Third
Industry City. Oh, 33rd. I'm sorry. It was at the Old American Camp.
Old American
and
Camp
the elevator. Yeah, the elevator there. Yeah. I could have told you about that. Interesting. Wow. Well, again, We the Animals is going to be at the Angelica here in New York and at the Landmark in New Jersey. Well, one more block. I think you're in New Jersey, but you're still in New York City, technically. West 57th Street. It's pretty far west.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying,
It's Raúl used to live right up there.
That's right.
That's like, I'm only sad that you don't live there now because you can't just walk to the theater.
I know, seriously. Seriously. I was living up there. I was living in the Upper West when we shot the film, and now I live in Brooklyn.
He
lives right next to our office. He just wants to get closer to our office.
That's right. That's right. I'm just going to camp out at the public record offices.
Are you based in? Where are you based?
We're based right next to the Old American Can Factory. Actually, we're based on.
You are?
Yeah.
Where you live or you work?
Well, I live in Bed-Stuy. I work. Gotcha. We have an office. Public Record has an office.
Right.
Jeremy and I, who's one of the producers of the movie, and then we have 4 other directors in the company, or 5 other directors.
I see. Okay, it's like a collective or anyway.
Yeah, similar to a collective, but they're
you're not inviting anybody into it.
Yeah, we do a lot of commercials and documentaries and things like that.
I understand. Now, you're not based in the America, but you're in Gowanus. Is that what you're saying?
We are in Gowanus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, and that's where we watch the World Cup and things like that.
I'm just busy at work. Did we leave anything essential out of this? Because it's a lot. There's so much. This is one of those stories, the making of, and
when you're going to talk to Zach,
I did already.
Oh, you already talked.
I know
to
it
Zach.
doesn't sound like I did.
You
should see me there because it's been months since I
you met with him just because you're friends.
No. I brought him on the podcast. No, he's going to be. I'm going to put it on after this. But I met with him, and I hadn't seen We the Animals for a couple of months. Susan provided me, with the film a while ago. I wanted to see it. And then I didn't rewatch it, so I got in there and I had forgotten some things, and I didn't think to, remind myself of it because I figured it would just all come back. And then so fortunately I got a lot of that sounding really stupid out of the way before I got in here today with you guys, so I didn't sound totally like a moron.
Got it.
Which I usually sound like. What else? And then, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, since we're talking about things that we should mention, we the film had its LA premiere at Outfest this summer, which is an incredible experience.
It's a theme in the film, which I didn't bring up.
Absolutely, sexuality.
About Jonah's emerging sexuality.
Exactly. And I've had several projects at Outfest. It's a great festival, and being there at this level, at this platform, was a really special experience. And seeing this film in particular, I think they gave us an award, and
we won the Grand Jury Prize.
That's right.
That's an award that counts.
And the weekend, and that was really, really great. The weekend right before that, I went to San Antonio, Texas, Cine Festival, oldest running Latino film festival in the country. Really small, intimate festival on the west side of San Antonio. Very Latino audience, very Mexican audience, and very blue collar audience, and to get to see that, to get to experience that juxtaposition. I remember toward the end of the screening in San Antonio, I had to run to the bathroom because I knew that it was going to be a Q&A after, and I was like, I had to pee. So
Sure.
I'm get out of here. And it was like 5 minutes before the film is done, and I hate walking out in the middle of anything. I hate when people get up or, move. So I left, and I come back into the theater as in the last 5 minutes of the film, the last moments of the film, really, when Jonah's like, those beautiful shots of Evan when he's,
Don't say too much.
Right. That's right. That's right. And the audience, you could hear a pin drop, and to be.
Yep.
The audience was just so rapt. Their attention was just glued to the screen, and I just loved seeing that, to experience the film in these different environments. And I think the film has the potential to really play in a lot of really great places, and for audiences that don't normally go see independent film, that I think that it is about childhood and family, and I think these really universal themes that anyone can identify with. So I want to be clear about that.
I think it's a restorative picture. I do. I don't want to make too much and sound too lofty about it, but I do feel like, especially right now, in this day and age, what we're going through as a country, as a culture, with so much division. So I think this is really the right kind of movie. So kudos to you guys, and because it's about really clinging to each other.
Absolutely.
It's about love.
Yeah,
we need more
love.
love. Complicated, messy love.
Right, which is what it always is, right?
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.